Go ahead. Turn it up. It's the Record Machine Show with your host, Jimmy Howe.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome rock recording artist David Reece. Hey David, how you doing?
Good, man. How are you?
Very good.
Good.
It's been a while.
Yeah, how long?
It's got to be, let's see, 2021 was the last time we spoke on the air.
Really?
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Crazy.
It's definitely been a while. So what have you been up to?
Well, I'm enrolled in school. I don't know if I was when I talked to you then.
No, what are you taking?
I'm studying Italian language.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah, and I've got, after this season, I've got one more term, and then I graduate.
Nice.
Pretty tough, man.
I'm sure it is.
It's really hard for people over 50, American English-speaking people, to learn the Italian language. It's one of the most difficult.
I bet.
And yeah, so it's a challenge. I mean, I'm doing okay. I'm getting better every week, but I believe in assimilation. If you're going to live somewhere, learn the culture, do the paperwork, right?
Yeah, and I'm sure your wife's probably helping you out a little bit with it too, right?
Well, it's kind of a conflict because her and her sons like to speak English, so like they catch themselves speaking English to me, and so we're trying to focus more on Italian when we're alone.
But it probably helps you a lot too when you're communicating with other people, like out and about, right?
I kind of keep to myself. It's weird. I don't really. Well, I mean, when I go to the grocery store or something, sure. Reading road signs, stuff like that, it's helpful. But I'm not really somebody that, unless I'm doing gigs, that goes out and does much socially. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I hear you.
I kind of burned out. I think so many years of it. It's just like I dig the old man chair, and after a day's work, just sit on my ass and stare at the wall.
That's the way I am. Once I get home from work, I just want to chill out and I'll cook dinner and stuff like that, do some chores around the house, especially on my day off, but I'm not really much into going out that much anymore.
Yeah, and I think it's really hurting the music business too. It's just like, I think most people our generation feel that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's hurting the business in the sense that, we're getting older and it's just like, I really don't feel like going out. I got to get up. I got to go do this. I got kids,
Yep.
So, yeah. So it's all part of,
Definitely. And like I said, the last time we spoke on the air was 2021. And since then, you've written and recorded a brand new Reece album titled Baptized by Fire. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. I released Cacophony the 13th of March 2020. And I had, we had talked about that. I think I had booked around 40 gigs, and literally this COVID outbreak, from what I understand, started about 30 minutes from where I live. There was an Italian executive that had about 200 people in his building, and he had just returned from China. So I was recording there, some new stuff, and new ideas. I'd already finished Cacophony, and literally one day he called me and said, "Don't come, something's happening." I thought it was a terrorist attack. Bridges were closed down, warnings all over the TV, on our phones. It's like the end of the world. So that studio being 30, 45 minutes away, the good thing that happened was I had heard that in my village there was a studio that was pretty good. So I went down and started to get to know the owner, Riccardo Di Morosi, who's actually the producer of Baptized by Fire, the bassist, and he plays some rhythm guitar, and he wrote a lot of those songs with me. So he's literally 10 minutes from my house. So, during the pandemic, I was offered to do some demo work, to make a living. So I would take it to his studio, get to know him, as a producer and how his ear works. And we grew to really admire each other. And then, boom, I had a gig last September. I was supposed to do like a thing in Hamburg. Well, it had been booked in 2020 and rescheduled 15 probably, but I headlined a Friday night, Hamburg Market Hall, David Reece performing Bangalore Choir.
Nice.
And I used the band that's on Baptized by Fire, the Italians, as my backing band. Sold out, and kind of a test. And they just killed it. I mean, rehearsals are always professional. The attitude is great. And musically, I mean, listen to this band. I mean, this record proves it.
Definitely.
They far exceeded my expectations, and it's really grown. I've known them now for 3 years. We've done a bunch of shows together, and it's just a really good family of guys,
So who do you got playing with you? The names of the guys?
Well, it's Riccardo Di Morosi on bass. It's Niccolo Savinelli on all the guitars, the lead guitars, and his brother Nello Savinelli on drums. Now, Nello actually plays drums in Iron Allies with me as well, with Herman Frank, because Francesco Giovino had some family problems that he had to sort out, so he had to step aside. So I brought in Nello to finish the festivals and the shows that we had confirmed. So I got two brothers, the bass player Ricardo, and it's going great, man.
Sounds great. I really love it. I love the album. I think it's pretty fucking cool. Now
it's really heavy and it's fucking dark. I mean, it's
definitely.
I got to give a shout out to the layout. The artist is Newton Artworks. That was Richie Newton from Metalheads Are Forever. I kept it cheap, but I kind of made him a Schwarzenegger, Conan the Barbarian guy on the cover and the graphics. So I give a shout out to Newton Artworks on that. They did a great layout on the CD cover and everything.
Yeah, I love the album cover. It came out great.
T-shirts look insane, dude.
Yeah, I'm going to have to order one soon.
Well, I'm going to America actually tonight. I'm leaving here in the next few hours. I'm flying to the States to play some gigs in the Midwest where I kicked off. I'm heading out probably in about an hour and a half.
Wow.
Catching the red eye to fly to Montreal, and then from Montreal to Minneapolis. So I'll be there tomorrow sometime. God knows when.
Wow, very cool. Now, this podcast is going to feature 2 tracks off this album, Enemy Is Me and We've Lost the Fight. What's the story behind those 2 songs?
Well, The Enemy Is Me is kind of like me talking about myself, I've got nobody but myself to blame, good or bad. Ronnie Dio always had a great saying, was like, open the lion's mouth, stick your head in, and if he bites down, there goes your fucking head. He always had you know what I mean? He always had a great attitude about moving forward, you know what I mean? And brave till the day he died. I mean, I saw that last tour when he was really sick with the cancer, and I mean, you could tell he was feeling bad, but he really sang great. I mean, I don't know if I could have ever even done the 2 years before that, but he was one of my heroes. We've Lost the Fight. It never seems to amaze me. I mean, there is kind of a religious connotation in some of these songs, political, personal. It just seems like politically out there, we're way too far gone. I don't know if the divide will ever be bridged in the gap. You know what I mean?
No, I don't think so.
I think the world in general is just one side or the other. There's no in between. It's kind of like when I replaced Udo and Accept. You either loved me or they friggin' hated me. There was no middle.
Right.
It kind of reminds me of those days, this rabid, if you listen to the lyrics, I never thought I'd see so much insanity leaving, blah, 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 we've lost the fight. I mean, and ironically, that's the second video. Enemy has been out for 2 weeks, charted number 16 on the debut in the European charts. Nice. Really happy about that.
That's awesome.
And the record company said, this We Lost the Fight's kind of got a Marilyn Manson, John 5 opening riff,
Right.
And I wanted a shuffle kind of groove on the record. So that's song number 2 and video number 2. We completed that 2 days ago.
Nice.
Yeah. And they released it March 1st. So it coincides with the first show in Minneapolis. Well, actually, it's Fridley, Minnesota at Route 47. It's nearly sold out. Capacity of 800. I think there's 600 plus tickets pre-sold, so I'm pretty stoked about that. And then we go do some casinos.
Nice.
And then I return to Europe in the next few weeks, and I start a small tour in Scandinavia where I'll be doing a couple gigs with Blaze Bayley.
Nice.
So, and then I got tons of festivals that I had booked a few years ago with Iron Allies that I have to oblige. I've got Grass Pop, Czech Metal Fest. We're headlining in Portugal, Witz in Germany.
Wow, big year for you.
I think so. Yeah, and I'm just staying focused, man. I mean, I was doing a podcast the other night, and I said, while I was finishing this record, I asked myself, I said, "Is this my last album?" And I've never thought that. Could this be the last one? And if it is, I think I did a fine job. I've had a good run, and I'm proud of it.
Right.
So who knows what the future holds, but
I guess see how
It
you
was- I
feel,
never
right?
had- Yeah, I mean, I've been asked to write for some pretty heavy pop artists
Uh-huh.
in Europe, a couple of different people, and we'll see how that goes.
Mhm.
You know, it all sounds good on paper until you sit down in a room, and if you can click and kind of get what they're trying to portray and put over and convey musically, we'll see. But I have that kind of in the background when I get back and say, I'll be free and I'll rest up and put pen to paper and, sit down with them. But I'm focused on Baptized by Fire. I want to tour the hell out of it this year.
Uh-huh.
And I've got some agencies working for me. So, yeah, and then go back to the States in early August and then do the state fairs and stuff like that. More shows. Like, the plan is to go back and do like 15 or 20 dates and then come back to Europe and finish out the winter here.
Very cool. Let's talk songwriting a little bit here. How do you go about composing a new song? What comes first, the melody or the lyrics for you?
I'm a horseshit musician. I mean, I'm not a great player by any means. Probably the best instrument that I play is a harmonica.
Nice.
Blues harp. Yeah, I mean, I love it. I studied Sonny Terry, the old, Delta blues guys were my influences. And, I learned when I was about 14 how to play that thing. So some of my records, I'll use it. But as a guitar player, I'm a fumble fidget, piano, I can kind of plink around. Typically what happens is, and I've been really lucky, I get surrounded by really creative guitar players.
Mm-hmm.
And with Baptized by Fire, you'll notice there's more of a new metal, even an early 90s grunge sound to it, metal-wise.
Uh-huh.
Some of the riffs, which I despised when it happened because it destroyed our careers, right? The rock guys.
I know.
But the last few years, I've been listening a lot to Soundgarden and Alice in Chains, actually.
Right.
And going, you know what? Those are great bands. Both singers were amazing. And even Eddie Vedder from Pearl Jam, some of that stuff, it's timeless. And over here, people in their 20s are listening to that stuff again.
Wow.
But my band being, 20 years younger than me, kind of grew up in that generation. So they bring that energy melodically to me. They'll record a track with a drum machine and go, what do you think of this riff? And if it strikes me, I find that lyrics just kind of fall out of the sky.
Uh-huh.
The hand moves, and I'll come up with a couple of lines, and then I'll somehow find a chorus that fits the structure of the melody and the frame of the beat. And then if I get stuck, what I like to do is that I'll call John Wilde in England, who I've written a million songs with, for lyric help. I'll usually come up with a title, chorus idea, verses, and say, hey, can you kind of put this all together so it makes sense?
Uh-huh.
And he's a genius at that. So we've had a great relationship musically for years. So I can't take all the credit for that. But typically what happens is the band will come up with a groove. One guy in the band will write a melody and kind of a playthrough and then give it to me, and then I'll write the story. Then the band will record the live drums and the kind of rough bass and rough rhythm guitar. Then I'll sing it again, and if it's a really good take, we'll save that, and then the band will play around me. And that's one thing about this record. Those are real drums, real guitars.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? There's not a bunch of computers all over this thing.
Nice.
Plus, because we live so close together, we can rehearse the ideas. We shoot videos together at the studio. We record together. It's kind of like the old days,
Yeah, it makes it easier, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's close together. You can get together and just kind of do your thing, It's not like...
You can be a band, It's not like these file sharing bands that don't see each other until it's time to make a record and do a Zoom chat, and then they work on a bunch of files and then play 2 or 3 festivals, and then and they're done.
Yep. I could totally see this gelling more because you're all together in the same place, pretty much all the time. So I think that's important.
And what's weird too is like, I'm an old duck basically in this business, and you get set in your ways. And I have to say, when I rehearse with these guys, I'll get to rehearsal. They'll say, be there at 3, right? I'll walk in and there's music playing. I go, what are you guys doing? Oh, we've been here a couple hours running the set, running the songs. I'm like, what? And then I'll sing the set, which is like 90 minutes for a live show. I'll say, what do you guys want to do? Because, my voice is wore out. And like, we're going to stick around and play the set a few more times. I want to tighten some things up. And I'm like, wow, I love this. And then if I'm kind of off and I'm not singing a part right, some of them will say, doesn't it go like this? And then they'll put on the CD and go, yeah, you're not singing it right. It goes like this. I mean, they really pay attention to detail.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? And a lot of bands don't. A lot of bands will not see each other for 3 months and then end up in a hotel, do a lap jam and go play a show in front of a couple thousand people. And I think it kind of shows. If you don't have a good singer to cover that, it would collapse. Those lap jam cruise ship gigs and festival shows. And then financially, I get it. A lot of bands, you just can't. Some are in Germany, some would be in England. I mean, it's understandable because, festivals aren't going to pay for you to go 2 days earlier and run the set a few times. They're just not going to do it.
Definitely. Now, is track sequence important when putting together a new album?
It is. I think I got lucky with this one because Tomorrow Don't Matter Today is the last song on the album.
Uh-huh.
And I'd gone to Nicolo and I, when the new Extreme album came out, I was blown away. I went, here are song structures, but this psychotic guitar breaks, right? They're just from outer space, this technique, this, you know what I mean? This playing. I went, how does Extreme do this? I mean, what is this? So I looked at Nicolo. I said, I want you to play your ass off on this record. Just go crazy. And a lot of people tell the guitar player, don't wank too much on the song, right? But I said, if I don't like something, I'll tell you. And I said, by the way, I'm kind of weak on I need another song. So he said, well, I've got this. And it ended up being Tomorrow Don't Matter Today. So I got lucky because Enemy was such a strong opener. Then I put that as the ending, Tomorrow. I mean, the in-between just kind of fell into place. I believe a record should start strong, end strong. If you kind of plateau in the middle, get the yawn fest happening, and then you throw in a really good song to keep the people's interest, and then you end it really big. I mean, people feel that. They start hitting skip.
Definitely.
But I got lucky on this one. I think I ran like 3 different ideas in running order. They left it up to me, and it's not an easy task. But if the songs are good, and you got to think about tempos, right? You want the album to move you throughout the record. The smallest one I've got is Closer to God, and I didn't write the music to that. Andy Susamil wrote the music for Closer to God, and I loved it. It was so heavy, kind of mid-tempo, dirgy,
Now, when you perform live, the order of the set list important as well?
You mean of the album sequence?
When you pick a set list when you play live, is that just as important as like a sequencing an album?
Yeah. You have to play what I'm known for, and obviously that would be Eat the Heat songs from Accept.
Uh-huh.
I always play Generation Clash. A lot of times I'll play Ecstasy. Many times I'll play Hellhammer. And then with Bangalore Choir, I'll play the hits from that, Loaded Gun, Angel in Black, Just One Night, Freight Train Rollin', All or Nothing, and If the Good Die Young Will Live Forever. Got to play that one because everybody knows it. But when you're promoting a new record, we played a gig a few weeks ago in Switzerland. We played Enemy and Tomorrow Don't Matter Today just to see how it felt.
Uh-huh.
And it wasn't good. It wasn't good. We need to rehearse it more,
Uh-huh.
But the rest of the set we've known for a while and have played it, but we're throwing in new stuff from this record in the set as we go. And when I get to America, I'm going to showcase some of these new songs as well, because the record's out now. People have it. They kind of know it.
Uh-huh.
The video's out,
Yeah, I'm sure people are going to want to hear a taste of the new stuff and a lot of the hits as well. So,
yeah, it's if you're lucky to have some well-known songs, it's a good problem to have.
Exactly.
A lot of it has to do with tuning. Yeah. I mean, it's like some songs are in the same key. Play those 4, switch guitars, then play 4 more songs in a different key that the guitars are tuned to. Then you go back to the original 4 opening song tunings, which were tuned out. I mean, that's a good problem to have. So I always try to have different tunings in my set so it's not sounding the same. You know what I mean?
Now, you mentioned earlier a few of the shows and the festivals and coming to the United States and then going back where you live. What's the most memorable concert or event you've ever played at?
There's a bunch of them, but there's one that stands out that I'll mention. I was asked by Firefest in 2010 to reform Bangalore Choir, but I had to have a minimum of 3 original members. We had not spoken for 19 years.
Wow.
Club is sold out. It's a huge event when it's going on. I talked Kurt Mitchell into coming on guitar, Danny Greenberg, who played on the record on bass. And I mean, we went back and forth. I mean, Kurt said, no, I changed my mind. I'm not going. No, you're going, dude. I remember walking to the venue from the hotel, and there was, I think it holds 1,300 people, the venue. And the queue was completely around the building, and people were shouting our names. I thought, this is weird. Are they looking at me? What's going on? And people were shouting song titles. And we went down into this cave system, basically under the stage, and it was totally silent down there. I said, it's quiet up there. What's going on? I mean, we went on about 7, I think. And I was petrified this gig was going to suck. You walk out on stage behind a big curtain, and you can hear people talking, and then this lady shouts and announces the band name, and the curtain drops. And it is filled to the rafters of people, flags from different countries, waving them. It's nuts.
Nice.
And from the first song, they're singing every word. And I realized while I'm singing, looking in the crowd, they're mouthing the words. I'm going, they know my song. We recorded a live album that night. I was nuts, man. It was so cool. And sadly, Steve Lee had gotten killed that year.
Wow.
And Ronnie had died that year. So I dedicated To Good Die Young Will Live Forever. And I saw people in the crowd crying. So after the gig, I'm just mobbed by people going, we've been waiting for 19 years to see Bangalore Choir. Where have you been? You know, and apparently, when grunge took over America, it slowly kind of leaked in over here, like 2 years later. So there was a market. We were told our lives were over, so just go get a framing job or a house painting job and find a different path. Had I known that, I would have put the band on a plane and gypsied it in Europe and slept on people's couches because we had a huge following. And maybe I could have kept it going. It was one of those coulda, woulda, shoulda things, you know, but I was told it was over.
Wow.
That was one of my best gigs. I mean, I sang pretty good. It's a little weird being around the guys, you know, but we jammed, of course, in the hotel room. And everybody's kind of looking at each other and going, this is pretty cool. You know, I remember this song. And they're like, yeah. And we smoked it, man. And then I played Sweden Rock. I played festivals around Europe. I've done a lot of gigs that have those little magic moments, like a fan will do something, or the Udo Steel Factory tour was cool. That was a good one for me because I was the special guest. So you had Udo and then the X-Accept singer Dave. So I had some great. I did like 40 shows with him on the Steel Factory tour. That was quite memorable.
Very cool.
Sold out pretty much every venue we played. You know.
Besides Reece, are you working on any other projects you want to share?
Well, I'm not sure if Iron Allies, Herman Frank and I from Accept. I don't know. We released an album last October on AFM. It did really well. And I'm not sure what his plans are with Victory or, you know, I'm just focused on David Reece. And I have done some side things for some friends of mine in a band called Goot that are, I suggest everybody out there that listen, check them out. It's a great band. I mean, they write all the music, all the lyrics, and they have me sing. They go, Dave, do your thing to these lyrics. So I'm free to create my vibe on it.
Okay.
I did that, and I'm basically just I'm writing another record right now. I don't know if this is my last album. I don't know, but I'm constantly writing.
Cool.
I don't know where I'm going.
Okay.
I don't know where I'm going,
Here
but
I go
I sure
again.
know where I've been. But I mean, that was corny. But anyways, I don't know. I'm just going to keep plugging along. I'm looking forward to see I started in Minneapolis, Minnesota. That was where my career kicked off, clubs.
Okay.
And I'm going home. It's kind of a return because I was there in Accept in like 89.
Nice.
This will be like the first tour I've done in that area since then. And there's actually a book coming out, too, a guy named Brett Monroe. It's called Tales from the Strip. And I'm kind of like one of the animated characters. And there's a bunch of different rock and rollers who are part of this book. The animation is insane. If you go to, it's called Rock Nerds. It's on Frenzy Like David Reece Official.
Okay.
That's a book that he's bringing on my merchandise table. He's coming down from Canada, and he's going to announce the band. And I got to say, even Newton Artworks did the artwork cover for it. So it's actually me, but it's kind of changed a little bit, and I had to change the names to protect the innocent, if you get my drift.
Gotcha.
I couldn't tell names, who it was that I was partying with and doing craziness with, but this book is going to be really cool. It's pretty much each song title from Bangalore Choir on Target is a scene and a chapter in the book.
Nice.
And the chaos of the late 80s and early 90s and what was going on. So I'm kind of interested to see how that plays out. New video coming out March 1st. We Lost the Fight. And at the end of the video, I went around and asked all my fans and friends, and famous singers are in there, sing along to the chorus. We've lost the fight, right?
Uh-huh.
And I'll put you in the video so that at the end of the video, you'll see it kind of fade out. And then it comes back, and it's all my friends from around the world and various vocalists part of the video. And then the album cover pops up. So I thought, you know what? I'm going to include the fans on this one and my fellow artist friends that I respect, and known forever.
That's awesome, man. I'm looking forward to seeing that. Comes out March 1st, you said?
The new video. And I got to say, El Puerto Records, I've gone back to them for this record. They do a fabulous job. You can pre-order the record right now at El Puerto. Amazon's got it. I've been watching all day. People are actually holding up photos of it. I've noticed that, they've got it and promoting photos and stuff like that, blah, blah, blah. But I want to give a great shout out to El Puerto Records. They do a great job with media. That's why I'm talking to you,
Yeah, they're good people.
Yeah, they are. And it's rare. It's rare to find that. People like you, people like them. It's hard to find somebody like you. I haven't spoke to you for 3 years. It's like I talked to you yesterday.
Right. Yep.
It's not cold, it's normal.
Yeah. It's definitely normal. I mean, we probably would have talked sooner, but life gets in the way sometimes,
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't realize it'd been that long, but I'm glad to talk to you again.
Yeah, well, I seen that you had put out the Iron Allies album, and I bought a copy of it. You signed it for me too, and then I got sick. I was sick for like a month and a half, 2 months. I had something wrong with my intestines, and I meant to have you on, and then I kind of I had something wrong with my intestines. I was sick. I was in the hospital twice, and I was gonna have you on. I was gonna ask you to come on, but then I was sick, and then I kind of lost track of everything, and then when I finally got back to you, you said this album was coming out, so we waited,
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're back, man. I'm sorry to hear you were sick.
Yeah, thanks, man. So you mentioned before T-shirts. Are they available on your website, the new shirts?
They will be. What I'm doing is my tour manager, Robert Anderson, when I get to the States tomorrow sometime, whatever that is, we're going to I've sent all the merchandise that I had made here to Minnesota at one of the guitar players' houses to hold. Gotcha. We're going to design the availability of we have laminates of the album cover in black and white. We have the Chief. We have the new Chief that's on the cover of the album. We've got T-shirts. We've got CDs. Like I said, laminates, posters, tons of stuff. So I'm going to put that together
over the next few days, and then he's going to run that as a website because he's based out of Arizona.
Okay.
So for people inside the United States, it's a lot easier, right? And if somebody orders, I can sign the CDs or whatever and make it more realistic rather than waiting 6 to 8 weeks. And sometimes people, when they buy stuff from me personally, they never get it. So I'll just mail them another one, and then that one doesn't show up.
Wow.
I had a guy in Germany, which isn't that far from where I am. It took 3 months to get a CD.
That's crazy.
I mean, really? Yeah. So I'm going to have a huge merchandise web page up and running early next week.
What's the link to your website?
I haven't really decided what I'm going to call it.
Oh, okay.
It's probably. I mean, we're going to design it because I've got some really cool designers that are going to meet me in Minnesota, and we've got the whole layout. And Robert's going to operate it. Robert Anderson.
Okay.
So I'll do an announcement where to go to, a link and all that stuff. But you can find out what I'm up to, with friends who like David Reece Official, Facebook, Instagram. I'm always blabbing away until they shut me down with my algorithm.
That's funny.
If I share more than 5 or 6, I seem to get that warning,
Yep. Now, is there anything you'd like to mention that we didn't talk about today?
I'm just thankful, man. I pray for good travels. I pray for everybody's health. And I want you to realize that people, if you want this genre of rock and roll to survive, they have to support it. They have to go to shows. After the COVID blowout, we've lost so many venues in Europe. And I'm learning that in the United States, there's a lot of venues. And tribute bands are kind of taking over again.
Yep.
I'm sorry. I mean, if you want to be in a tribute band, good for you. But, I mean, I don't want to try to dress like Coverdale or, Brian Johnson or something to go make a buck. I refuse to go down that road. I don't judge anyone who does, but what's happening is tribute bands and a lot of bands that play their own music are so desperate to play live, they're doing it for free.
Yep.
They're playing for the door. They're not getting any exposure. And if a band like myself at my level calls and says, well, this is my price, I have a crew, I have to pay my players. Well, we don't pay that, man. We're not going to do that. We can get so-and-so to come and do a Van Halen tribute for free.
Yep.
Okay, have a nice day. I hear that all the time now.
I'm sure.
And it's killing the live scene, man.
Yeah, I bet. I hear a lot of people saying the same thing that you're saying.
Mm-hmm.
So,
where are you located at?
I'm in North Myrtle Beach in South Carolina.
Oh, yeah. Okay, I remember now.
Yeah, I'm near the House of Blues.
Yeah, I had a tentative run of dates down through Florida, and I was actually looking into that. And we had some dropout dates due to the economy and all that other stuff that happened to me, and I was just feverishly active,
Yeah.
And everybody said, dude, if I'd have known 2 months earlier, I would have put you on, but I'm like, I know it's short notice, but, it's just a never ending fight to get live dates. So I can just say it again. If you want your artist that you want to see, go to the show. Don't say, oh, if you come in this area, I'll definitely drive 2 hours to go see it. No, you won't.
Right.
I mean, you gotta have that groundwork, because the band can only do so much. We're playing this territory. We're doing this. Buy your tickets now. You do it every week. And then the promoter starts calling you going, hey, ticket sales are kind of low. We're freaking out. And I said, wait till day of show. And then, it typically picks up, more people come because a lot of things happen with COVID too. Bands would cancel. People would pre-buy tickets. And then bands would cancel on them. So they didn't know if they could really trust, pre-sale. So they just said, we'll just see if they're really coming, and they'll wait till day of show and then they'll go to the venue.
Right.
That was a big problem over here, especially.
Vandenberg and Jeff Tate are going to be playing at the House of Blues in 2 weeks near me. Great.
I know Adrian really well. I know I've met Jeff a few times. I know Matt Slavin, the singer, with Adrian really well.
Yeah, I might check it out.
Fantastic singer. Yeah, it's cool. They're doing a lot of his stuff, and they're doing like about 50-50 Whitesnake too, I think. And Matt is killing it. He's a great singer. I've known Matt. I retired for about 9 years, and when I came back, I ended up in Sweden, of all places, from Montana, and I ran into Matt because he was working with the producer. And I didn't know who he was, and then I found out he'd sang with Yngwie, he'd done this, he'd done that. And we started writing a couple of songs together, and yeah, great singer. You'll enjoy it. Yeah. And Adrian, he's a fabulous guitar player.
Yeah, and it's close by my house, so I mean, I haven't really seen any, bands or artists from that era, playing near me. Like you said, it was like a lot of cover bands and stuff like that. So when I saw this, I was like, oh, this is pretty cool.
Yeah. I mean, I think that's a good combination, Jeff Tate and Vandenberg.
Yeah.
I know the last couple nights he's played around, looks like there's been good crowds. I think he kicked off in Illinois.
Yeah, I think he might be in Florida this week too. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
So
that's what I heard.
He's making his way my way. So
yeah, they'll be there.
That's cool. And you said you're getting on a plane soon?
Yeah, I got to leave here in about 10 minutes. Got my bags packed, head out the door, and go to Milan.
All right, buddy. Well, I'm not going to hold you up. I know you got a busy,
that's cool,
busy flight and all that other stuff. But Dave, it's always great chatting with you, and hopefully it won't be as long next time. And I want to wish you the best of luck with these shows and safe travels, my friend. All right.
Thank you, James. God bless you, brother, and I hope your health stays good and strong. Eat right, take care of yourself, and I'm sure we'll cross paths.
Absolutely, brother. All right, well, you take care and get some rest on the plane before you start getting to work there in Minnesota, all right?
I'm getting pretty jacked up. I mean, I'm pretty excited, so I don't even know if I'm going to sleep. So, all right, James, have a great day, and I'll talk to you in a few days.
All right, man. Love you, brother. Take care, all right?
Love you too, James. Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye.
train, 'cause you're the last in line. I've learned my lesson from the poverty, wired by living a lie. We've lost the fight. We've lost the fight. We've lost the fight. We've lost the fight.
The Record Machine Show is a weekly radio podcast produced by Jimmy Howell Productions. All rights reserved. For information regarding distribution or adding this podcast to your website, please visit our contact page at therecordmachineshow.com to submit your request. Thanks for listening. See you next time on The Record Machine Show.
The Record Machine Show.